This is the walk-on music for our next guest. He fought the weekend. It's a strange old fight, actually. Strange old ending. Let's get his view on it and say hello and good evening to the light middleweight boxer. Liam Smith joins us. Smudger, hello.
How are you? Okay?
We're good. We're very well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. All good.
It was a strange old fight the weekend. Just explain to people exactly how it ended and what happened.
Yeah, it was just a bizarre ending that I can only really say. He just seemed to jump on the floor.
I mean, it's the first time I've ever seen boxing and thought we need VAR, see if it was a dive.
Oh, I'm getting all kinds of messages saying that how much did they pay him. That it's crazy.
It was bizarre. What do you think it was down to? So he I think he took the knee quite early on in the fight. Was it round 4? And then the referee came in and gave him a standing count. Have you got behind what the reasons for it was?
You know what? I'll just put it down to I've sparred him in the past and he quit in the past. But he quit off taking a bit of stick. You know, I was kind of beating him up a little bit in sparring and he quit and he was turning away and he was lifting his leg up. But in the fight under the lights, he seemed to do it without really taking much stick. And that's what I can't get my head around. You know, before the fight, I thought he was going to quit. He'll quit as soon as I start getting on top, he'll quit. But he seemed to do that so early after round 4.
Do you think it ruined it? Because obviously we know it was back in your home city of Liverpool. Really electric atmosphere in there. And then it ends like that. Did you find that a little bit disappointing?
Yeah, I was devastated. You know, ask anyone in the arena, ask anyone after the fight. And I'm getting told left, right and centre. It's nothing to do with you. Don't be bothered about it. You've won. But I just left a bit of a bitter taste in my mouth because I wanted to have a proper ending. You know, I wanted to give the fans a proper ending. The atmosphere was very good in there, and I wanted to give them something really to cheer about. And as much as a lot were cheering, a lot was in the same position you guys are in now. Like, it was what happens really. You know, a lot of people left with what's just gone on. You know,
there's nothing you can do about that, right? I mean, he gets the money he was offered. He turned up. He took part in the fight. It was only 4 rounds, but still. But that's just it. I'm guessing that's just. I mean, it's so rare that we see a fight like that. It just happens.
Yeah, well, like I say, it's nothing to do with me. It's out of my hands. I turned up. I fought. I didn't quit. But it's not really acceptable. If that's his case, it's not really acceptable. If that's the case in boxing, then we're not in for a long run. You know, if people are just saying up for the money, getting in the ring, and then opting to jump out like that. But he's a strange old character, Hassan, and I knew he had that in his locker. But I suppose that was his world title fight, and I didn't think he would do it, and he's done it.
Yeah, disappointed. All right, so what's next for you then, Liam? I mean, potentially the winner of Conor Benn versus Eubank Jnr, maybe?
Yeah, maybe that's a big possibility here. You know, there was talks of me fighting Eubank before he got matched with Conor Benn. I understand his decision in taking that. It's a huge fight domestically because of the fathers. But you know, if Eubank comes up, certainly if Eubank comes through that, it's a high chance I'll fight him next. If not, then I'll just push to becoming a 2-time world champion again because I'm high in all the rankings now, and you know, hopefully I'll become mandatory for one of them world title belts.
You said that about that fight between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. Who do you make the favourite for that fight?
I make Chris the favourite because of the weight. You know, I know Conor's dragging him down a little bit, but Conor Benn's a 147. He's a welterweight. Chris Eubank's a solid middleweight. So I just think ultimately he'll be too big on the night.
Do you not have a problem with it? But I remember as a kid growing up, I'm obviously older than you, but you always used to have the best v the best. And the money, I wouldn't say it was secondary, but it wasn't as important as it seems to be nowadays. Fights are getting made, understandably, I haven't got a problem with it, sometimes on the back of copious amounts of money being added to the purse. For instance, these two shouldn't be fighting. They're not the same weight. One's got to come up, one's got to go down, etc. But there's so much money on the line. At heavyweight, we're not necessarily always seeing the best two heavyweights. You know, some are signed up with different broadcasters, so it doesn't happen that way. Do you have a problem with any of that, or is that just where boxing's at the moment, Liam?
I know the game, so that's just unfortunately the game we're in that happens because of the different promoters and networks. But you know, it's wrong the way the best don't fight the best all the time. But I'm in the game and I understand the reason for it.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with it. There's so much money involved.
So take the money.
So this, yeah, of course, you got to take the money. It's a short career, right?
Liam, one of your former opponents, obviously Canelo, is going. I think it's the trilogy now with Triple G. Talk to me a little bit about him. What was it like when you fought against him?
Yeah, obviously the whole week, the whole build up to it was great. You know, the magnitude of the fight, to fight someone of his stature, was something I'll never forget. Him as a fighter was a very, very good fighter. You know, technically very good. More so when people think of fighting now, they always ask me like, was he strong? Was he powerful? And I was like, not so much. It was more how good he was that surprised me.
What do you mean, how good he was? How quick he was?
Just as variety as patience. He constantly had me twitching with little movements and feints he was doing. I couldn't really read what he was going to throw next. So it was more how good his ability and his ring IQ was that surprised me, rather than, wow, he's powerful him.
Who do you see winning then that third fight between the two?
I pick Canelo because I think Golovkin's getting to 40 years of age now, and I just think Canelo's going to be too fresh for him.
Do you ever watch a fight back of yours?
Yeah, I do. I watch, obviously. Yeah.
What do you learn from it? That one Bentley just mentioned about Canelo Alvarez. What did you learn from that? That if you did fight him again, you'd do differently?
I just always feel like I'll do better than I did last time, regardless. But especially with the Canelo fight, I was in great shape for the fight, but I didn't have the best of camp with sparring. I got a cut in the build up and couldn't really spar. So I think my time could have been a lot better. But that's not taking anything away. He's a special fighter. And, he was too good all round eventually. I just think little things I can pick up off laying from him, and you can always be better than you was last time.
Let me ask you, Bentley said at the top of our chat about, would you like to fight the winner of Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr.? It must be very difficult for boxers, because if you're looking at other sports, anything, tennis, snooker, golf, whatever, football, obviously, your fixtures, when you're next playing. But with boxing, you don't. So what happens between now and when that fight takes place, and then when you're fighting again? Is that something you've got to learn to deal with? Does it frustrate you, or it's just part of the game?
It's part of the game, but it is a frustrating feeling also. You never know what's what. And, I'll have 2 weeks off now, and then I'll be back in the gym, and I'll start getting onto my manager and getting onto my promoters to see what's next. And I'll get ifs and buts, if Conor Benn or if Eubank won't fight me next, what route are we going to go? And we'll have it in place ready.
Do you have plans as to how many more fights, how many more years? You're what, 34?
Yeah, so maybe I'll probably say my next loss will be my last. But I'm fresh. I feel a young 34. I live a good life outside of boxing, and I'm always fit. I still play football, and
okay. Do you? You still play football, do you?
Yeah, I still play Saturday and Sunday league football.
How close to a boxing match will you still play?
Too close, to be honest with you. I stopped 2 weeks out. Yeah. But,
hold on. You fought the weekend. When did you last play football?
2 weeks ago.
That's just madness, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But I've always, such wood. I've been lucky and fortunate enough to get away with it and not have any bad injuries. So.
Yeah. You might get a call out from your side. Liverpool, they've got enough injuries.
Oh, no. I know.
Now, Liam, I don't know if you've seen it, but obviously Tyson Fury, he's apparently called out AJ. Well, he has called out AJ the chance to fight him for the WBC belt. First and foremost, what do you make of that?
It's just you just don't know with Tyson what he's up to. He's retires 1 minute, he's not retired in the next. He's fighting for $500 million 1 minute. He'll fight for 3 the next. He's just got everyone talking, and he just keeps his name relevant. To be honest with you, that's all he does. But he does seem to be fighting again now, so. I think he is 100% genuine in this offer to Tyson Fury, to Anthony Joshua to challenge him next. So I think he just knows that's a huge fight now, and especially with the blueprint, what Usyk's just done to Joshua, I think Tyson Fury's massively confident in that fight.
Who do you think wins that fight, and how's it won?
I think Tyson, he wins it. He just knows how to win. He doesn't really know how to lose yet, and he always finds that way, and he's the type. If he can win ugly, he'll win. He'll win at any means necessary. Even if the fans are booing because it's a terrible fight, he doesn't care. He'll win. He will use the size and weight advantage that we all wanted Joshua to do against Usyk last time round.
Liam, thanks so much for coming on. Last question: Would you be happy to be champion of the world if it meant Liverpool went down into the championship?
Yeah.
So would I. So would I. Hey, listen, you're a superstar. Thanks so much. Congratulations on the weekend. It didn't end how you wanted it to end, but who cares? You won. So on to the next one. Thanks again for your time.
Cheers, Liam.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me. Thank you.
Our pleasure.